These are full length, and they could be used by most adults, and and children can use them. But in some cases, a younger child might want to cut the noodle and use one that's what I'm doing much here smaller. So is doing a figure-8 motion, which this represents your basic topspin ground stroke on the forehand. Okay, on the backhand, it can be like this with two hands. And you'll see how I'm moving the noodle. I'm letting it. Notice how the noodle flies up in the air at the end of the swing. And that is helping me get the feeling of the racket dropping, hitting the ground, and then swinging. Excuse me, tree. Right? Little noodle in the middle, and I swing it around. Oh! What am I going to do? Again, notice the figure-8 motion. The tips of the noodles are not getting anywhere close to me. So just watch and see if you can do this. Over here, and then there. So you can see as it comes around, the bottom, or in the tennis racket, the butt of the racket faces the front. And bending, and as a warm-up, just generally holding on to it to get a variety of stretches and movements. Okay, and just a free. Now when you volley, the throwing motion is very short like this. When you take a ground stroke, the throwing motion is obviously larger. Okay? When you're serving, the throwing motion is this way. So it's like this. And you can just get your arm used to that feeling here by watching how the noodle sort of curls around a little bit or flips back and forth. And that's helping you get that motion and feeling in your body. And you'll notice it's not just my arm. You can see I'm moving here to coordinate this going across without letting the noodles hit each other. If you cut your noodle and you have some left over, then this is very good exercise for warming up, for stretching the muscles in the arm. So, and it might depend on the kind of noodle you're using. So you can see if I twist back like this, right? I can come up like that, right? Then I can twist around, or twist up, and see. So these movements that I'm showing you here are similar movements that you're going to use with your arm when you're hitting balls going this way, going that way. And this has some resistance. So before playing tennis, or even just to do it, to get familiar in your body with these types of movements. You'll notice that the bottom end of the noodle, as you hit, as the racket comes forward, or the noodle comes forward, the bottom part just goes back a little bit. So like this, that, okay? Very simple movements. With the serve, and then do the racket. Oh, the racket's much heavier, but then do the service motion with the racket. And try to. Now, what the noodle's doing here is it's giving you this very flexible, relaxed feeling, because you see how the noodle moves. Now, the racket's not so flexible, of course, but your arm and your body can contribute to that when they do it with the racket, using a noodle and the tennis racket. You can practice different heights. The ball is up higher. Just bring the noodle up more. If the ball is lower, you can come down here. You have to bend low, right? But the same thing, I can just come across and hit the ball like this. In, I can hit the ball with the volley. And the volley can be a very short motion like this. So if you think of hitting the noodle and having it point right out, like it's coming right out towards the camera, then that's probably enough motion for getting the feeling. To go like that, I'm not going to have backhand using the noodle. I'm going to have to slide the hand along, put the noodle out, and try to slide the racket over the top of the noodle a little bit to get sort of behind it. You just let yourself relax and get hypnotized by the motion of the noodle passing in front of the camera. And breathe. Right, I'm left-handed, so the red noodle is the one that would represent my forehand more, but it's just as useful to practice using the other hand, because if I'm a two-handed backhand swinger, then I would be coming from this side. It's good to practice with my non-dominant hand. Okay. You can also work on, as a final thing to say, you can see what is involved in making the noodle go faster while keeping control over it. So you can work on a little bit of a whip motion. You can see how my hand accelerates as the noodle goes down and then across. Down and forward and across. And you can get a bit of a whip on it. This is an introduction to 3 balls in a sock. Right? Now, 3 balls in a sock is a little different feeling than the noodle. It's heavier, but it can be used to help with all of the strokes, particularly the backhand ground strokes, and the serve.